Sierra Harrison will start in the circle for Missouri. McCann did not pitch badly, but ultimately made just a couple too many mistakes. Harrison takes over in the circle today, only her second SEC outing of the year.
Sierra Harrison really gonna have to buckle down, get ahead of the hitters so that she can throw these rise balls, mix it up with a changeup for some swings and misses, and just really has to embrace this opportunity to face the #1 team in the country.
Oklahoma shakes up the lineup just a little bit. McEnroe-Marinas moves up to hit first. Garcia second. Sanders third. Sydney Barker all the way up to bat in the number 5 spot. Ella Parker, somewhat surprisingly, after her first extra base hit in 9 games, that 3-run homer that clinched the run rule last night, is not in the lineup for the Sooners. And with the defensive shuffling, Hannah Core comes in for Parker, the only change in the starting 9. Core will bat 8th. Slightly chilly early Saturday afternoon in Columbia, but a massive crowd on hand. Almost certain to be the largest regular season crowd ever to see the Tigers in Columbia. First pitch ball. .61 degrees and a 2:02 Central Time first pitch. Only once, regular or postseason, has this stadium or Mizzou softball drawn more than 4,000 fans. That was in the Super Regionals last year against Duke. Could threaten that with a sellout announced today.
There are not a lot of spaces out on that berm to sit. Most of this lower bowl is full. Very impressive crowd.
2-2. Thirteenth start of the year for Harrison. Just the second of the SEC. And it's full.
It's the first time you saw that changeup from Harrison. She's really relying on this rise ball. She's trying to throw it to all 4 quadrants, which she does very well. We haven't seen Dayton swing the bat yet in this at-bat, so trying to get comfortable at the plate, taking a lot of pitches.
And the payoff pitch comes in and plunks McEnroe-Marinas. So after a leadoff walk in the top of the first yesterday issued by McCann that came in to score on the 3-run Garcia homer, it's a leadoff hit by pitch. And Garcia, who batted in the cleanup spot in game 1, takes down and away for a ball, hitting second here in game 2. Same 3 umpires as yesterday. They move around the diamond. Tatum Stolting calls the balls and strikes this afternoon. Dave Reinecker at first. Scott Mayer, home plate umpire last night, over at third. Just missed 2-0. And Larissa Anderson out for an early visit.
You see she's initially talking to her catcher, trying to figure out where these pitches are. All of the pitches that Harrison has missed on, minus the ball that hit the leadoff hitter, these balls are close to the zone. So the zones are going to be a little tight today, which can bode well for both teams as long as they can be patient at the plate.
So 2-0 on Garcia after McEnroe-Marinas was hit by a pitch to lead off the game for OU. Sooners got 3 first-inning runs off Garcia's bat last night. 3-0. 3 balls and a strike. Fourteen-game hitting streak now for Garcia, including 3 straight multi-hit games. OPS over those 14 games, 3 points shy of 2,000. Out in front, and the count is full to a second straight Sooner in the first inning.
Garcia got fooled by that changeup. You could tell she was looking for a rise ball there. Garcia is a power hitter, and power hitters love rise balls. It's a lot easier to hit that rise ball out of the park, so you could tell that's exactly what she was looking for.
Only Missouri's second SEC series. They were off last weekend, and Harrison pitched just the one time in the Saturday game against Kentucky. Garcia down the right side and foul. Sent first base umpire Dave Reinecker ducking for cover, falling for cover, diving for cover.
See Madison Walker shooting over that way to try and get that foul ball. She's diving for the ball. Umpire diving out of the way to make sure he doesn't get hit by that ball.
Dave's probably thinking, you know, I could have a glove down here. Really, I could umpire with a glove on. It wouldn't make any difference.
With the power lefties that Oklahoma has, it might do him some good out there.
Up high, and an 8-pitch walk to Garcia. So after it burned Missouri so badly last night, Sierra Harrison has put 2 Sooners on base for free to start the game 2 this afternoon. Harrison in that one outing in the SEC prior to today gave up 5 runs, all earned over 3 2/3 against Kentucky. Sydney Sanders rockets one into the Missouri bullpen. Former first-team All-American at Arizona State as a true freshman in 2022. Now in her 3rd season at Oklahoma. 2 on, nobody out. Been a productive player for the Sooners the last couple of years, although unable to match her jaw-dropping ASU numbers. OPS over 1,500 for the Sun Devils as a true freshman, but she does have OU career highs across the board this year. 1 0 for 2 with a walk and a couple of strikeouts last night.
That's it. Here we go.
2-2. Harrison's had 2 strikes on all 3 Sooners. Gets the call, the outside corner. Sanders thought it was off, might have been. Backwards K for Harrison for the first out of the inning.
Harrison goes with 3 straight changeups here to get this strikeout looking. Comes back in. This is where Julia Crenshaw becomes so valuable as a senior catcher, really doing a great job of kind of getting her pitcher some strikes that maybe was a little bit out of the zone.
Crenshaw came into Missouri as an infielder, became an outfielder, became a catcher. She's done everything but pitch, essentially, in her Mizzou career, but certainly showing a level of comfort this year that is beyond anything before as the catcher.
Seen a lot of growth from her in that catching position, too, where, you know, she was really asked by Larissa Anderson to come in and really do that position, which is not an easy position to learn if you haven't played it your whole life.
Pickering flies out to center to Cahalan, and 2 are retired now. Hit by pitch, a walk, a strikeout, and a flyout, and now Sydney Barker, who moved up to hit 5th today, is going to get an opportunity. Barker hitting .355 this year, 4 homers. She's batted in 22. And this is only the 14th game she started this season. Went 0 for 1 with a strikeout last night. Had a couple of home runs against Baylor in mid-February, but she hasn't gotten many opportunities against Power Conference competition so far. Had just one start over the first 6 SEC games for the Sooners, but she's been in the lineup for both games so far this weekend. And another strike on what looks like it's going to be, if not a generous outside corner, at least one where there are strikes.
Every umpire has their spot that they're going to look for and they're going to give. We saw the first couple of hitters. Harrison missed a little bit up, missed a little bit down, but she's definitely given the outside corner.
2-strike delivery. Barker waves and misses. 2-1, nobody out for the Sooners. Sierra Harrison comes back with a couple of strikeouts and gets out of the inning. Oklahoma nothing. Missouri coming to bat. A run rule victory last night. They go to Smith, the redshirt senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina, in her first season at Oklahoma. CAA Pitcher of the Year last season at Campbell. Julia Crenshaw leads off for Missouri, shows bunt, and takes a strike. Crenshaw hit just .207 last year. OPS under 600. This year has been much better. Bouncer to McEnroe Marinas, and the leadoff batter is retired for Missouri. Crenshaw had Mizzou's only hit. Third inning single last night. Though the Tigers, especially after the first time through the lineup against Landry, were not getting blown away, and they did manage to put a couple of runners on both in the third and the fourth, but failed to score.
You could tell the second and third time through the lineup, the Tigers felt a lot more comfortable in the box. They had some good hits, good hard hits that were hit right at some of the OU players. This OU defense, so impressive.
That ball was foul. It just went wide of the bag. It's funny to say in a game where Landry threw 5 one-hit innings and the Sooners hit 3 home runs, but I think I came away most impressed by the defense of all 3 phases last night.
I think both teams looked very good defensively. Good, clean, sharp softball out there. No errors.
Walker drilled to center. Missouri on the board for the first time in the series. Madison Walker's team leading 13th home run of the year, and the Tigers strike first in front of a record crowd.
This is a big-time at-bat and a big-time game for Madison Walker. She continues to come through for the Tigers with her offense. Does such a great job at the plate. They are attacking Smith in the circle. This ball gets up. That rise ball, as I talked about in the first half of the inning, so easy to hit out. She does such a great job staying on top of that ball and driving it right back to center field.
So now it's Kara Daly. Patty Gasso did say to us before the series, her biggest concern was home runs and walks. Daly lifts it to left. Not much wind today, to the wall, and is pulled in by Abigail Dayton with her hand up against the fence. Walker and Daly nearly go back-to-back. Daly just got a little bit under it.
Well, the difference we've seen in this top for the Tigers in this bottom half of the first inning is they are attacking in the box. They are not sitting back. They're not waiting. They are going right at this first or second pitch.
That was a big Larissa Anderson point of emphasis last year. Ebbs rips it into right. Second Missouri hit. In 4 batters today, the Tigers have double the hits. they had in the entire 5 innings last night.
Well, when we talked to Coach Anderson, she mentioned we can't just wait for this perfect pitch. We have to open it up a little bit. You have to just be looking for a spot, not necessarily the perfect pitch, because against a team like Oklahoma, you're not going to get a lot of misses from their pitchers.
Here's Stefania Abriscato. Down and in a ball. Matty Gasso wanted this Oklahoma staff to let its defense work. Can't defend home runs, can't defend walks. That was the 6th homer against Isabella Smith this season in 36 2/3 innings now.
Well, the defense we saw last night was so impressive from OU. A lot of balls Missouri hit very hard. Good, hard ground balls, line drives that they were able to make really great plays on.
Abriscato the other way. It'll split the gap in left center to the track. Ebbs gets the wave to the plate. She will score. An RBI double for Stefania Abriscato. And Missouri has a 2-0 first inning lead on undefeated Oklahoma.
Mizzou being so aggressive at the plate. You're seeing a lot of first pitch, second pitch swinging. Abriscato does a great job driving this outside pitch, going the other way with it in that left center gap. Ebbs able to come around from first base and score after Core has to kind of, she doesn't dive for it, but kind of falls to her knees and doesn't have that opportunity to make a play on that at the plate.
A ball to Madison Updegrove just off the outside. Updegrove 0 for 2 last night, but she did have that dangerous foul ball down the right field line that had home run distance and just twisted wide of the foul pole. She started her SEC career 3 of 7 against Kentucky a couple of weeks ago. Double, a triple. She walked 3 times in that series. Then in the intervening week away from the Southeastern Conference, hit a couple of home runs here in this ballpark. True freshman out of Tolton Catholic here in Columbia. Chance to add on to a crooked number for Missouri. Madison Walker home run to dead center. Stefania Abriscato RBI double to left center. 3-1.
A little bit of a shift here for Updegrove. She's been a lot more patient at the plate, hasn't been attacking these pitches, and is up in the count now 3-1.
That outside corner, both teams not thrilled with it at the plate. But Missouri definitely got a couple of those calls in the top half of this inning, no doubt.
Smith really working the outside corner with Updegrove.
Payoff is down and Updegrove walks. Bring up another freshman in Sophie Smith. What do you think the emotions are like for freshmen? Not just playing in the SEC, not just playing against #1 Oklahoma, who has been the national champion since they were in middle school, but in front of a crowd like this at home. It must be so hard to slow down the heartbeat and treat it like a normal day at the park.
This is like postseason softball out here with the crowd, with the competition. It's got to be hard as this freshman, right, to just like slow down. You have to embrace this opportunity. You're not going to get this every single weekend, but you have it this weekend, so you just have to embrace the opportunity and kind of forget about the noise that's around it.
Speaking of postseason softball, Isabella Smith mentioned that she was at Campbell last year and was CAA Pitcher of the Year. She began her career, though, with a redshirt season at James Madison, where she was part of the Dukes team, although not playing, that came here in the Supers in 2021 and beat Missouri. This is a mile high, going to be a tricky play. Emerling called off by McEnroe Marinas, much easier for her, and the inning is over. But Missouri Missouri scores its first 2 runs of the series. Madison Walker's 13th home run of the season to lead the club out to dead center. Missouri trying to flip the script in game 2. A 2-0 lead on the undefeated Sooners. He said, do you think we could get some rocks over here and we could have an M in center field? He said, you know, I think I can make that happen. And the players placed the rocks. I don't know exactly when. It was over the winter sometime because it was snowing.
Right. Well, it could have, that could be spring in Missouri, but a little bit of a strategic move by Coach Anderson, asking for something easy, right, in her first meeting with the new athletic director, maybe trying to butter him up for something a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, he must have been thrilled when that was the only request he got from one of his most successful coaches. 1 ball, 1 strike on Elana Agbayani, and she fouls back, strike 2. This is only the 9th time in 29 games this year that Oklahoma has conceded the first run. That's, I guess, the bad news. The good news is they're 8-0 the other 8 times, obviously. Funny you mentioned the snow, because Patty Gasso said that's one of her core memories of playing here in Columbia in the Big 12 days. She said it would be cold. Not so bad this weekend.
This is like picture perfect softball weather. Not too hot, not too cold. You see a few jackets out there, but you see a lot of shorts and t-shirts also.
Still a ball and 2 strikes on Agbayani, 1 for 2 with a walk last night. She'll be followed by Emmerling and Core. 6, 7, and 8 scheduled for the Sooners. What you'd think is a critical inning for Harrison. If Oklahoma immediately answers with 2 or 3 runs, Missouri's probably going to feel like that first inning was a flash in the pan. Down and it's full. A lot of full counts. Sierra Harrison has had to work hard against the first 6 batters she's faced. I mean, look at that, 31 pitches. It's more than 5 per batter. She's faced 3 full counts out of the first 6. Each of the first 2 reach base. McEnroe Marinas went to a full count and was hit by a pitch leading off the first. And then Garcia was walked on a full count and put 2 Sooners on, nobody out, but to Harrison's credit, she got the next 3, Sanders, Pickering, and Barker, 2 of them on strikes.
Seems Oklahoma came in with a different mindset today, more about being patient at the plate, fouling off some tough pitches until you can get that pitch that you want to drive.
Rope to the wall in left center, and Elana Agbayani has her first SEC extra base hit of the year, a double to lead off the second.
This is a great at-bat by Agbayani. Sits back on this outside rise ball and drives it to left center field for this double. Being a lot more patient at the plate, sitting back on pitches, not necessarily attacking that first or second pitch in your at-bat.
So here's Isabella Emmerling, the catcher. She swings big up there, 0 for 2 last night with a strikeout, but she's been rewarded in SEC play so far, her first year in the league, and Oklahoma's for that matter, but she came from the ACC in North Carolina rather than the Big 12 with OU. 3 for 9 against Arkansas with a homer and a walk, although she did punch out 3 times last weekend. And she had a couple of home runs in her and, of course, Oklahoma's first ever SEC game a couple of weeks ago against South Carolina. And the Sooners needed every run they scored against the Gamecocks. They swept the series with 3 one-run victories, including a couple of 10-9 games. Emmerling lifts it down the line in left. Addie Kohler, in her first ever Missouri start, makes the catch in foul ground. 1 away.
Ball's going to find the new kid. So that ball, that's a sky-high fly ball from Emmerling. She's got a big swing. Sometimes she's going to miss big, but she's in there. One, obviously she's a great catcher, but that big swing has proven to work very well for her.
Yeah, Kohler probably thankful she's not getting her first collegiate start with the wind looking like it was yesterday. Here's Hannah Kaur. Kaur, a great defender and a key pinch runner during the first 3 years of her Oklahoma career, although she missed the vast majority of 2023 with a back injury. Just her 8th start of the season. Nearly clipped by the pitch. It is her 6th start in 8 SEC games, though, so she's been a much more active part of the lineup in March. Went 1 for 5 last weekend against the Razorbacks with a double, a walk, and a strikeout. Harrison's 2-0 offering. Corked over the OU dugout, 2-1.
When we talked to Coach Gasso earlier in the week, she mentioned, you know, they won a lot of games by slugfest, and that's not what she wants to see from her pitchers. But if you're Missouri, you do not want to get into a slugfest with OU. You do not want to get into a slugfest with this Oklahoma lineup, no matter how good your offense is. So Harrison really settling in out there, even with the leadoff runner getting on, having to get ahead of hitters. She's throwing a lot of pitches right now. She's having to work very hard out there in the circle.
But you think about what a good performance today could do for Sierra Harrison to just catalyze her season, her Missouri career. Got off to such a great start last year, had that 25 2/3 scoreless inning streak to begin the year. 2-2.
Well, and Coach Anderson talked a lot about Sierra Harrison and really having to work on her failure recovery, which is a really hard thing to do in softball, right? You have to have a goldfish, 10-second mentality of, like, you can't worry about what happened on the last pitch. You have to focus on what happened, what's going to happen right now here in the present on this pitch. And that can be hard to do as a pitcher.
Into left for Kohler. 2 down.
Left fielder number 16, Abigail Dayton.
Bayani, the leadoff double, but Oklahoma in danger of stranding a runner in scoring position who was there with nobody out for the 2nd consecutive inning to start this game. Had 2 on, nobody out in the first inning and didn't score. Abigail Dayton, the leadoff hitter last night, down to hit 9th today. Went 1 for 2 with a walk in the series opener.
I like this move in the lineup by Coach Gasso, moving your leadoff hitter to this number 9 spot. Mizzou saw a lot of success against that 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters last night. So really bringing in one of your top hitters and bringing her towards the bottom of the lineup and trying to give that bottom part of the lineup a little bit of pop.
And she didn't really sacrifice a lot in terms of Dayton as a table setter because she moved McEnroe, Marinas, and Garcia up to hit right behind her in the 1 and 2 spots.
Well, really giving McEnroe, Marinas, Garcia more at-bats. If you can get them more at-bats with their swings, you're going to, just give them more potential, more possibilities up there at the plate.
Three balls, 1 strike on Dayton. It's the 2nd time one of each team that a 3-1 pitch on or off the outside corner has been believed to be ball 4, and the batter's been called back. Updegrove in the Missouri first, Dayton here in the Oklahoma second. Interesting, too, that's to a left-handed batter. It had been all righty so far. Dayton to short. Updegrove takes it, and the side is retired. Oklahoma, a runner in scoring position with nobody out in each of the first 2 innings, and in each they come up empty. Tigers have an early lead in Como. Finding a way to win this game, maybe like a 13 over a 4 or something like that. It wouldn't be miraculous, but it would be very, very surprising. At the same time, one of the core elements of that discussion is when a team gets a lead early and settles into a game and starts thinking they can win.
Some of that is the mentality, right? Just believing in yourself that you can win. This Oklahoma team, #1 in the country, came in last night, run-ruled Missouri. Seemingly, they were quiet in that run rule. It didn't even seem like they were at their best. So Mizzou really having to embrace this, opportunity to come back on day 2 and be able to get a win.
Kohler rolls it to the left side, and Addie Kohler in her first SEC start, her collegiate start, has a base hit off the left side.
Continuing this attacking early in the count. Takes an outside pitch. She's got a lot of speed. Tough play from Mineros over there. Having to come over to her glove hand and knowing that Kohler has a little bit of speed, trying to move a little bit quicker than she normally would.
Here's Claire Cahalan, shows bunt, it takes ball 1. Just the second SEC at bat for Addie Kohler in her career. She struck out against Tennessee last year.
Sometimes that's better for a player, right? You don't know what you don't know. So going in, you kind of have no fear. You're not really that, rattled by this experience here because you're rattled just because you're brand new to the position. So it doesn't matter the opponent that you're playing.
4 hits for Missouri already in the first inning plus after only 1 in the 5-inning run rule victory for the Sooners last night. Smith's 1-1 is fouled back. Cahalan was 0 for 2 last night, playing a much bigger role for Missouri this season than she did last year as primarily a pinch runner who then became a spot starter toward the bottom of the lineup late on in the year. Back toward the circle, it's past Smith, top play Garcia, no play Garcia. Back-to-back infield hits for the 8 and 9 hitters in Missouri's lineup. And the Tigers' best hitter all season, Julia Crenshaw, comes up with 2 on and nobody out.
This is where Claire Cahalan is so dangerous as a hitter. We saw her show bunt twice. And this slap with a runner on is so hard for this defense to defend. That shortstop has to hold position, even with Addie Kohler at first base, who has the opportunity to steal, has to do a great job of holding that position and still being able to come in and make that play.
The entire infield in for Oklahoma to talk to Isabella Smith. There is action in the Sooners bullpen. Kirsten Deal, the left-hander, is up and throwing. It's the 5th appearance for Isabella Smith as you see Deal in the pen. 5th appearance in the SEC for Smith. And each of the first appearances on a weekend against South Carolina and Arkansas have generally gone well. It's the 2nd appearance against a team that has been more of a problem. Ball 1 to Julia Crenshaw. Although Smith only pitched 2 innings last week in Fayetteville after she got 6 1/3 combined in the first SEC series against South Carolina. And some of it is some bad luck because she's given up the 1 homer and the 1 walk, but generally she's done what Patty Gasso wants. In this inning, for instance, she's rolled a couple of ground balls. Oklahoma just hasn't been able to turn them into outs.
Well, that's what Patty Gasso said to us earlier in the week. She mentioned, I don't want my pitchers to work on being perfect. I want them to get ground balls. I want them to make the defense go to work.
She cuts off McEnroe Marinas. It's a bunt single for Crenshaw. The softball has not left the dirt, but Missouri has the bases juice with nobody out.
It's a great bunt by Crenshaw. Smith hops off the mound. She's got to let McEnroe Menares field that ball. That's the only way. Crenshaw's got a lot of speed. That is the only way that you're going to get that out at first base, is to have that third baseman charging to get that ball.
Another Sooners mound visit. This time Jennifer Rocha, the pitching coach, is out. And Patty Gasso is going to take the opportunity to talk to her infield, maybe about how they want to defend this. Look, Oklahoma's bats are so good, they're never out of a game no matter what. But if Missouri puts another 2 or 3 runs on the board, I don't care who you are, that's going to become a sticky situation.
It puts a lot of pressure on your offense, and, you know, Oklahoma does have a young team, so on paper they are young. They have played so well throughout the year that most people don't talk about how young they are, because they've been so impressive defensively, offensively, with this whole total package. But you got to remember, those are freshmen out there. You know, this is a huge crowd. This is a big-time playoff atmosphere. They're on the road. They're not at home with their home crowd, so a little bit different for them as freshmen to come into something like this.
Madison Walker to bat. She opened the scoring with a solo homer to dead center. Her team leading 13th back in the first inning. Ripped down the left field line, but she hooked it foul. We've contrasted already Missouri's approach and Oklahoma's. Sierra Harrison's had to throw so many pitches for Mizzou. Meanwhile, that was just pitch 26 for Smith. And Walker is the 11th batter she's faced. Just a little over 2 pitches per batter for Missouri, as compared to Oklahoma seeing 5 pitches. 0-2 on Walker. Smith has not struck out a Tiger yet in this game. 6 hits and a walk. 3 infield hits, including a bunt in this inning. 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Kohler at third, Cahalan at second, Crenshaw at first. Isabella Smith's 2-strike pitch. Walker waves and misses. A big first punch out for Smith. And Oklahoma is 1 step closer to getting out of the inning.
It's a big-time pitch by Smith, coming in facing Madison Walker, who was being very aggressive. This little off-speed outside curveball gets Madison Walker swinging.
Kara Daly. Strike in the outside corner. Now the Mizzou fans don't like it. I mean, there's no question at this point. We got to beat around the bush for the first inning. There is an inch or 2 off that outside corner, no doubt.
She's giving it to both teams, so you have to know that as a hitter, right? If you want to be able to hit that pitch, you're going to have to crowd the plate so that bat has the opportunity to get to it.
And generally, you noticed this early on last night. Missouri hitters were, if anything, standing pretty far off the plate.
They were not crowding the plate, and aside from Abiscato, who definitely crowds the plate in every at-bat she has, but they were definitely standing off the plate, maybe trying to pull that ball coming in from Landry. But even today with Smith, they're still standing off the plate just a little bit.
Kara Daly initiated that timeout to go talk to Jeff Cottrell in the third base coaching box, and she was looking down at her wristband, maybe making sure that she had the right numbers or the right signs or whatever. She's like, Coach, you really want me to bunt? That doesn't seem right.
That doesn't seem right.
Just wanted to come down here and make sure. 2 balls and a strike on Daly, who had that big weekend in the SEC bye for Missouri a week ago. Daly 0 for 2 with a strikeout last night. And flied out to left, her first time up this afternoon. Smith got a strikeout of Walker. And it's full on Daly. About as high leverage a pitch as you can get in the second inning. A critical payoff. Daly pounds it way foul.
the crowd going a little bit, but if you're Smith, right, that's just a long strike. It doesn't really matter. That's a great, that's what you want to have happen with a pitch like that.
3-2 again. Daly toward the middle. Could it be 2? It is 2. Agbayani gets Oklahoma out of it. The sacks were packed with Tigers with nobody out. And Oklahoma puts a 0 on the board. 2-0 Tigers to the third. Sooners coming up.
Ace doesn't even take a step after that, knowing she has to throw that ball as soon as she hits the bag to get that double play.
And it rewards Patty Gasso's mindset of, we've got a really good defense. Let's roll ground balls. Pitchers don't have to be perfect, because even though 3 infield bouncers, one of them a bunt, loaded the bases for Missouri, ultimately it was a ground ball that got OU out of it, and that's the idea. If you get enough of those, it's going to take a long time for the opponent to score on ground balls as compared to accumulate outs.
Yeah, uncharacteristic of that OU defense, right, to come out and have those infield singles with the bunt and an error or two. I'm not sure they were actually classified as errors, maybe base hits, but very uncharacteristic of them. But then to come back with that double play to really back up their pitcher, Smith.
Rare first pitch out for Sierra Harrison as Oklahoma starts its second time down the lineup, and McEnroe Marinas pops up to the freshman Smith. Both teams have threatened in this game. Oklahoma had 2 on, nobody out of the first. 1 in scoring position, nobody out of the second. Didn't score either time. Missouri got a couple of runs, left 1 in scoring position in the first. Madison Walker solo homer, Stefania Bruscato RBI double. And then loaded the bases with nobody out, and the 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up. And did not score in the bottom of the second. And you wonder just how much Mizzou might rue those 3 left on base.
You never want to leave runners on base in any inning, but when your 8 and 9 hitters can get on in front of that 1, 2, 3, you leave them on with no runs, you know that Larissa Anderson is not happy about that.
Two balls, 1 strike on Garcia, who walked her first time. Has just been red hot. True freshman out of Chandler, Arizona. 14-game hitting streak. At one point earlier this month, she became the first Oklahoma freshman to homer in 5 straight games since Jocelyn Allo did it in 2018. No pressure in that company.
Garcia seems to embrace that pressure.
Her mom, Kara, was a great hitter in her own right. Hit .350 with 34 career home runs at Arizona State. She's in the Sun Devils Hall of Fame. Garcia, for the second time in as many trips today, works the count full and reaches on a walk.
Number 1, the DP, Sydney Sanders.
Oklahoma calls time. Patty Gasso waves Garcia over and wants to talk to Sydney Sanders, hitting in the number 3 spot. Sanders struck out looking her first time. I think that was the first at bat we learned the outside corner was going to be a little bit wide this afternoon. It has been consistent, to be fair, but Sanders really had no way of being prepared for that.
Someone has to be that first person to experience it. She definitely was. But again, it has been fair. It's been called on both sides for both pitchers.
Off the hands and fouled off back over the screen. Patty Gasso loves the defense that Sydney Sanders provides Oklahoma at first base, although she's the DP this afternoon. Only true remaining senior on a team that's had so much roster turnover. Coach Gasso said, you know, this is the best offense she's provided for Oklahoma in her Sooners career. Need her to maintain it. Garcia over at first, one out. Sanders to third, Daly for one, Smith to first, Sanders beat it. Missouri nearly answered Oklahoma's double play in the second with one of its own here in the third, but Sanders gets there ahead of the relay.
Great job by Kara Daly here to get the go-ahead runner, making sure to keep that runner out of scoring position. Just misses the double play. Sanders gets down the line pretty quick.
Of course, any way to extend the inning is important for Oklahoma because of all the power, especially in the top half of this lineup. Pickering tried to check her swing, appeal to first, and she went around. Patty Gasso can't believe it. First base umpire Dave Reinecker said, yes, she did. And Patty Gasso, I think, is just gradually growing more frustrated with the umpiring overall this afternoon that she's gotten so far.
You could tell she was getting a little frustrated with some of those outside pitch calls on her hitters and starting to let a little bit of that frustration show to the whole crowd.
She's still learning how to handle these SEC umpires, of course. You know, that's a whole new group of umpires after being so long in the Big 12.
She's been at Oklahoma for so long, right? It's unusual for her to be the new kid on the block.
As she said, not really her time to say too much. It's her time to sit in the back of the classroom and be quiet. But she said it is intense. Just turn the dial up a little bit from the Big 12. Everything about it. In fact, she singled out the umpires, not so much that they're good or bad, but just the intensity. Like in the Big 12, she felt like maybe we could have a conversation now and again before the game. Here, it's really all business. That the way they take tickets is more intense. The way they check everybody's passes. It's just a different environment.
Different environment. And I think, you know, kudos to this Mizzou crowd really showing up. It's a gorgeous day, great day to play softball, and against a great opponent, but this is a big-time crowd. This just goes to show how much the game has grown. You know, back in the day, in the early 2000s, we'd be happy to have 200 people at the game. Same with OU. So, you know, Coach Gasso mentioned that the game has grown so much. Even now when they have, you know, 4,500 people in the stands at their games.
Pickering loops one into right, cut off nicely, but nonetheless, Sanders will move up to third. So Pickering with a base hit, Oklahoma's second, and the Sooners now have runners on the corners, and they're going to go to a pinch hitter in Emma Parker. Or Ella Parker, I should say. We were a little surprised not to see Parker in the starting lineup after she had that 3-run homer in the 5th inning last night. But Parker is going to get the opportunity here in the number 5 spot occupied by Sydney Barker in the starting lineup. So after a couple of ultra high leverage at bats for Isabella Smith in the circle for Oklahoma in the 2nd inning against Walker and Daly, two of Missouri's most powerful hitters with the bases loaded, Sierra Harrison is going to be tested here with Ella Parker coming to the plate as the potential go-ahead run. Parker began the year with an 11-game hitting streak, 8 multi-hit games, 11 extra base hits over that stretch. But that homer last night was her first extra base hit in 9 games. Nonetheless, hitting .472 on the year, Ella Parker. Down the left side, twisting foul, 0-2. She had essentially the game-winning blow last night with Oklahoma up 5-0 in the 5th. She's had a 3-run shot just beyond Kaylee Langer in dead center field, made it 8-0, and allowed the Sooners to run rule Missouri.
Parker, one of the hitters that makes Oklahoma so dangerous offensively, has a lot of pop in her bat, big lefty swing, ability to put the ball out of the park at any point.
Harrison has a couple of strikeouts today, both in the first inning when Oklahoma had a couple on with nobody out. 1-2 pitch. 2-2. There's been suspension every half inning of this game. And it's full on Parker from 0-2 to 3-2. Harrison's payoff. Parker waves and misses. Oklahoma strands 2 more. The Sooners have stranded 5 in 3 innings. Missouri's left 4. Something's got to give.
In a hurry, so no, you're never going to be comfortable if you're Missouri out there. So just continuing to be aggressive, get runners on, and get those runs across when you get them on.
Kierston Deal is the new Oklahoma pitcher, junior left-hander from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Second team All Big 12 a season ago. Taylor Ebbs, the Missouri cleanup hitter, takes a strike. Deal is 6-0 this year with a 2.24 earned run average. It's her 15th appearance, her 7th out of the Oklahoma bullpen. Ebbs had a single and came around to score her first time on that 2-out RBI double by Abriscato in the first inning. Ebbs down the right field line. This is well hit. This is gone. The second Missouri home run of the game, and it's a 3-0 Tigers lead.
Great piece of hitting by Ebbs here. New pitcher in Deal for Oklahoma. So it's going to be a totally different look with the lefty coming at you. Ebbs does a great job taking this inside pitch, keeping her hands inside the ball to make sure that ball doesn't go foul. Does a great job of doing that and just absolutely destroys that pitch.
Just about a dream start for Missouri in front of this crowd. And there's ball 1 to Abriscato. The only deviation from what would have been Larissa Anderson's ideal start to this game was leaving the bases loaded last inning. Abriscato into shallow left. Dayton make that Pickering, who's moved over to left field, makes the catch. Dayton has moved over to right. Which is kind of interesting. They didn't move anybody in or out of the game. They just switched Pickering to left and Dayton to right. Maybe right-handed pitcher versus left-handed pitcher. Maybe a velo thing.
Just how that the ball comes off the bat a little bit different with that lefty pitcher.
Pitch just off the outside corner to Madison Updegrove. The SEC really has not been kind so far to Kierston Deal. This is her 5th appearance in the league. Pitched twice against South Carolina, twice against Arkansas. Gave up 6 runs, although only 3 of them earned in 5 1/3 innings against the Gamecocks. 8 runs, 7 earned in 6 2/3 in Fayetteville last weekend. Updegrove off her hands, behind Deal. Good play by Agbayani. And 2 down. You know, we talked last night about how pitchers really should never be catching pop-ups. I thought for a moment that one would be low enough that it would really be deal or nobody, but Agbayani was able to get there in time.
A little bit high. It looked like it was going to be a little blue blind drive over Deal's head, but carried a little bit more than I thought it would.
Sophie Smith now. She popped up in foul ground to the third baseman, McEnroe Marinas, in the first inning, when Missouri sent 7 to the plate, scored 2 runs. Added on a third on a Taylor Ebbs homer, leading off this inning. 1-1. Missouri crowd got fired up about that one. Looked okay to me. To short, Garcia, smooth as ever. And the side is retired, but a leadoff home run for Taylor Ebbs extends Missouri's lead. The unbeaten Sooners down by 3 after 3 in Columbia. Patty Gasso of the Sooners not only kind enough to join us, but kind enough to direct traffic and get Ilana Agbayani out of the way of the shot so we get a...
I need my TV time.
That's exactly right, Coach. Look, this is a somewhat unfamiliar position, obviously, for your kids, having started the season 28-0, but at the same time, you guys have been really good in close games, so they've been able to handle this kind of thing.
Yeah, we're not looking at this and uncomfortable because we know how to come from behind. So it's a good challenge for us, and they're all in.
What are you talking to your hitters about in the box, and if they want to be more aggressive, or are you sitting back and waiting on some pitches for them?
No, we're not getting our swing off. We're kind of like a little bit hesitant with what we're doing. Just doing a really good job of keeping us off balance. We just got to get our swing off, and when we do, we'll find gaps.
Coach, we appreciate your time.
Thanks
a lot.
Thanks, Coach.
Patty Gasso and the Oklahoma Sooners trailing 3-0 going to the fourth, but they have had plenty of offense against Sierra Harrison. It's just a question of bringing in the runners who are on base. Mizzou has had the 2 big homers, and that's sort of been the story of this series. There have been 11 combined runs scored between the 2 teams this weekend. All but 1 have been scored on homers. Oklahoma went deep 3 times last night, Missouri twice so far today.
Well, and really where Oklahoma needs to come up big is in situational hitting, right? You want, obviously, hits to get runners on base, but then you really have to get that big-time hit whenever they have runners in scoring position.
Ilana Agbayani trying to get the Oklahoma dugout fired up. She had a double leading off the second. She has a bunt single leading off the fourth. It's the 3rd time OU has had the leadoff batter aboard.
This is a great bunt by the junior here. Look, she goes up looking like she's going to hit and then just drops that bat at the last second to get that bunt down.
Does have to be a little careful. She ran almost the entire way to first base, well inside fair territory.
Yes.
Isabella Emmerling, first pitch swinging down the left side and foul. Emmerling flat out in foul territory down the left field line to Addie Kohler back in the second. 0 for 3 with a strikeout so far in the series. Foul back, 0-2. Left side, Updegrove over, and has it for the first out. Not an easy play for the freshman shortstop, Madison Updegrove.
It's a hard play for Updegrove to go back on, and you see that's a little bit where Addie Kohler not having a lot of starts, not getting a lot of playing time out there in left field. Really, that's her ball. She's got to come in on that and call her off. It's a much easier play for that left fielder to come in on that ball rather than Updegrove being able to go back on it.
It's still March of her freshman year, and already we're talking about Updegrove as the veteran of 2 players.
That's a fair point, but she did a great job on that ball.
Core into right, long run, and beyond the reach of Abriscato. Abriscato, not really a natural outfielder, came into Missouri more so as a catcher and got probably more time catching last year than she did at any other defensive position, but she got pretty close to that one.
When Abriscato really in the lineup for her bat, they had to find a spot for her with Crenshaw being such a great defensive catcher. Really learned the position well. Reading that ball off the bat in right field can be a little tricky sometimes if you haven't really been an outfielder your whole life.
1 ball and 1 strike on Hannah Core, who flied out to the left fielder Kohler her first time up. Laid off bunt single for Agbayani, who has 2 of the Sooners' 3 hits. Sierra Harrison has bared down so well for Missouri with runners in scoring position. Bunt by Core, played by Harrison. Got her, 2 down. Bayani moves to second on what I suppose could go as a sacrifice, but you'd think Core was bunting for a hit there.
Looked like Core was definitely bunting for a hit. Good job by Sierra Harrison to get out of the circle and get over to that first base line to be able to make this play. Picks it up with her bare hand. Makes a great throw to first base. Madison Walker stayed back on that bunt.
Another Oklahoma runner in scoring position, again with 2 outs, and it falls to Abigail Dayton. With runners on base today, Oklahoma is 1 for 10. With runners in scoring position, the Sooners are 0 for 7.
It's unusual for this Oklahoma lineup to be 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Dayton, though, led off last night during the game. Now in this number 9 hitter role, has actually had a lot of opportunities in this game to come up big for Oklahoma.
Dayton on the year has not been great with runners in scoring position, just 235. Oklahoma needs some kind of momentum. Just off the corner, 2-0. Larissa Anderson, you could just hear her. Said, where is that? You could hear her the second time, where is that? Don't tell me hi. Another close one, 3-0. Generally, Oklahoma has been the more frustrated of the 2 teams with the strike zone. But that, in particular, the 1-0 pitch, I think was a place where it's often been a strike. That looks up to me.
It's a little up. That outside corner has been getting called, so I think that's where Coach Anderson was showing her frustrations. That ball was a little up on that pitch, though.
4-pitch walk to Dayton, and it extends the inning to Nelly McEnroe-Marinas, who comes to the plate as the potential tying run and brings with her 18 extra base hits this year to lead the club, including 8 home runs. That's the 3rd walk issued by Harrison. First 2 have not burned her. The story of the day for Oklahoma. Runners on base that don't come in to score. 5 stranded in the first 3 innings. 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. McEnroe-Marinas, a rocket, but right at Cahalan, and Missouri escapes another jam. 7 stranded by the top-ranked Sooners. We're halfway home in Columbia. 3-0 Missouri. With Oklahoma's 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position and 7 runners stranded in 4 innings. And you have a tricky situation for the top-ranked undefeated Sooners. who have only 9 outs left with which to work. Addie Kohler offered at the first pitch for strike 1. Eight, 9, and 1 hitters for Missouri. Kohler, Cahalan, and the top of the order, Crenshaw. Popped foul ground, third base side. McEnroe Marinas for the out. When 8-9-1 came up back in the second inning, all 3 of them reached. Pair of infield hits and a bunt, and loaded the bases with nobody out. That's the only inning that Missouri has not scored in the game. And you think back to it now, what a great job by Isabella Smith to get Oklahoma out of that inning with a big assist from Elana Agbayani, who turned a double play to end the frame. Because Oklahoma could be in real trouble if this were 5 or 6-0.
That was a tough inning, and it, Missouri really going to have to look back on that bottom of the second. Runners, bases loaded, nobody out, 2, 3, 4 coming up. That's the situation you want to be in right there. Get a strikeout by Madison Walker, and then the double play. Oklahoma came up big in that inning.
One ball, 2 strikes on Claire Cahalan. Deal has settled in since the Ebbs homer. She's retired 4 straight Tigers. Cahalan had that infield single and was ultimately stranded at second base back in the second inning. Wave and a miss. Strikeout for Deal, 2 gone.
It's a great job by Deal to be able to come back after giving up that initial home run when she came in, really settled into the circle. Gets this strikeout on Cahalan's curveball that's breaking away from her is a slapper. That's a tough pitch to lay off because you're moving, and then you see that ball when it starts, it's crossing the plate and then breaks outside the zone.
Just caught the outside corner to Julia Crenshaw. 1 ball, 1 strike. She has grounded to third and singled. Deals 1-1 delivery. Way up for the head of Crenshaw to the screen. Nothing to do but smile about that one.
You see Deal say, my bad, that got away from me a little bit. That was a rise ball that started high and kept going.
Well, what did Crash Davis say in Boulder? You got to throw one at the mascot every once in a while.
That's right.
Keep those feet moving in the box.
Right. Effectively wild.
In on the hands, Crenshaw chased what would have been ball 3. See her checking with Tatum Stolting right after, saying, well, that wasn't a strike, was it? 2-2. Crenshaw stays alive. Mentioned Deal was second team All Big 12 last year and run average just under 2. Made 3 appearances in the World Series against Duke, which got there by winning a 3-game Super Regional in this ballpark. Also appeared against Florida and Texas. Deal got the win over the Longhorns in Oklahoma's 8-4 victory to seal the national title. It's an SEC series now. They'll get together at the end of next month in Norman, and all 3 of those games will be on ESPN networks. Down and away, ball 4 to Crenshaw. She's on for the second time today, third time in the series.
It's a great job by Crenshaw to be patient at the plate. She fouled off a couple tough pitches there from Deal and manages to get the walk. Putting some runners on in front of Madison Walker is always what you want to see.
But a floating liner taken by Agbayani ends the inning. Missouri does not put anybody in scoring position for the first time in the game. We go to the fifth. Oklahoma needs a response, down by 3. Work. Nate Gatter, Ashley Moore back with you in Columbia as we move on to the fifth inning. Missouri a 3-0 lead over Oklahoma. And the Tigers go to their bullpen for Taylor Pennell. Pennell has been Missouri's closer for most of her career, and it's a role that's generally agreed with her. This year making her 18th appearance. Her first, or rather all but 3 have been in relief. Pitched in all 3 games against Kentucky in Missouri's first SEC series a couple of weeks ago. Gave up 5 runs over 2 2/3 combined innings. Gabby Garcia pops the 0-2 pitch into left. This time Kohler does make the call, although Updegrove was a good 50 feet out into left field.
I wasn't sure Kohler was going to make the call for that one. So great job by Pennell coming in here, getting Garcia out. It would have been the 3rd time through the lineup for the Oklahoma hitters to see Harrison. So good move by Coach Anderson, kind of shifting things around and making sure that they're going to see a different look.
There was just a brief conversation there after the fly ball between Kohler and Updegrove. Here's Sydney Sanders taking low for a ball. For Pennell, it's going to be about throwing strikes more than anything, you would think. Season-long numbers not bad. Only 14 walks in 31 1/3 innings against 36 strikeouts. But she had 5 walks in 2 2/3 innings against Kentucky in that first SEC weekend. Sanders out in front, 1-1.
Pennell's go-to pitch is her changeup. You see Sanders way off balance in the box there. Now that's going to be in your head as a hitter to make sure that you stay back and you don't kind of spin around there in the box, and making sure you stay back on that changeup, which can get, that means that then Pennell's drop ball can get in on you in a hurry.
2 balls, 1 strike with 1 away in the 5th. Missouri 8 outs away from an upset that would reverberate around college softball. 2-2. It's important to note, though, that even though it's easy to paint OU as kind of the front runners, and certainly they are, 4-time defending national champs, 28-0 this year, 31 straight wins going back to last June. Sanders off her hands, deep in the hole. It's off the heel of Updegrove's glove, and you'd think an infield single for Sanders. Either way, aboard with 1 out. The point to make is, even though they've had 15 run rule victories this year out of their 28 wins, they played a lot of close games. They went to extra innings in non-conference against San Diego State, Long Beach State, and Bowling Green. 5 of their 7 SEC wins so far have been decided by 3 runs or fewer, including those 3 straight 1-run victories in the sweep of South Carolina in the Sooners' first ever SEC weekend. They're going to a pinch runner here. Tia Malloy is going to take over at first base and run for Sanders.
So they are 28-0, but it hasn't necessarily been all smooth sailing and an easy 28-0. They have had to come from behind. They've had some close games. They're battle tested, especially with them being as young as they are.
Pickering takes ball 2. There is double barrel action in Missouri's bullpen already. Marissa McCann and Natalie Touche. A pair of right-handers are throwing for Mizzou. And one of the things Larissa Anderson has talked about, maybe in part reflecting on past years, but more importantly thinking about the staff that she has this year and how things went in the early season, is that she wants to have a quick trigger with pitching changes. Could see that with replacing Harrison after 4 scoreless innings, though not necessarily easy innings. There's a strike, 2-1.
She mentioned, Coach Anderson mentioned that, you know, in the past she would let her pitchers kind of work through situations and just kind of really shift in that mindset a little bit to make sure that, you know, she's going to have that quick hook. She's going to, you know, give her defense and offense the best opportunity and not leave her pitchers in there to figure it out on their own.
Pickering a fly to right in the first, a single in the third. Full count. Big pitch coming up. Ella Parker, who had a 3-run homer in the 5th inning last night, stands on deck for the Sooners. And would be the potential tying run if Pickering gets on. Swing and a foul tip. Pickering just got a piece. Would Pinnell double up on 3-2? Or does she go back to the drop?
The OU hitters have really been out in front on her changeup, even when they know it's coming. So I'm going changeup. And I was wrong.
Either way, it's a foul ball.
Coach Anderson also talked a lot to her pitchers about setup pitches, right? So not necessarily, you don't have time with a 3-2 count right now to have a setup pitch, but really using that inside corner to set up that pitch where you can come, you know, break a curveball over the outside part of the plate, or use that, you know, to your advantage for your changeup later on in the count.
2 Missouri runs in the first, 1 in the third. Oklahoma has had such struggles with runners on base, in particular in scoring position. Pickering tries to hold up, and she did. A 3-2 walk to Cassidy Pickering. 2 Sooners on.
Change up by Pinnell. I'm not sure she held up.
No swing there for me.
No swing.
Her hands did get way out in front.
Way out, but she didn't break. You're right. She did not break. But her body was so far out in front of the plate that it appeared that she definitely went.
Here's Ella Parker. It's impressive wrist strength by Pickering just to keep herself from never breaking there. So Malloy goes to second, Pickering at first, and Parker is indeed the potential tying run at the plate. She struck out looking back in the third. For whatever reason, she did not start the game. But she pinch hit for Sydney Barker in the number 5 slot back in the third, and still there now in the 5th. Pinnell's 1-1 pitch. Speed strike 2. A massive Missouri crowd that for stretches of the Oklahoma half innings has seemed almost too nervous to make much noise. 1-2. Parker out in front, 2 down.
Pinnell's at her best when she can throw her changeup for a strike. You saw Parker take one for a strike. Pinnell comes right back with the same pitch on the outside corner and gets her swinging.
Ilana Agbayani takes down and away a ball. Agbayani is 2 for 2, the only Sooner who has not been retired. Double in the second, a single in the fourth. She is 3 out of 4 with that double and a walk in the series. 1-1. 1-2. Sanders signaled, was replaced by the pinch runner Malloy at second. Pickering walked, she's at first. Agbayani pops it up, left side. Daly over, and Missouri is out of it again. Oklahoma has stranded 9 runners in 5 innings. The Sooners, with runners in scoring position, are 0 for 10, and they have just 6 outs left, down by 3. Home game to quite the afternoon at the ballpark. 4,146 the official attendance in Columbia this afternoon. It beats last year's Super Regionals, which was the first ever game attended by more than 4,000 in this ballpark. First pitch down and away, ball 1 from Deal to Kara Daly with 3-4-5 coming up in the Missouri 5th. It is the 5th time in the last 12 months that Missouri has set a new single-game program attendance record.
It's such a testament to the fan base here at Mizzou for this, Missouri softball team coming out big. It's a spring break for a lot of people right now, and they really made this their destination today to come out and support their Tigers.
Kirsten Deal, the 1-1 pitch to Kara Daly, who is 0 for 2. The fly to left and grounded into a double play to the second baseman Agbayani when Missouri stranded the bases loaded in the second. Really the only dent in what has otherwise been a near perfect performance for the Tigers. And one of which they've been able to make some big pitches, some big defensive plays, and get at times just a little bit of good luck. But Oklahoma has runners in scoring position. Sooners have stranded 9 in 5 innings, 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position today. Daly down the left field line toward the foul pole. It is the wrong side. Home run distance, but 10 or 15 feet foul. Tell you what, if they put the foul pole in the bullpen, Kara Daly might hit twice as many home runs.
We've seen her pulling the ball a lot today.
Payoff. Daly lunges, sends it into right field. Dayton is there, 1 away. Over 4,100 in the ballpark today, over 3,500 last night for Oklahoma's 8-0 win in 5 innings. Put that in perspective a little bit, and we talked to Patty Gasso a lot. We talked to both coaches about the growth of the game, but Patty Gasso obviously has been a bigger part of it than maybe anyone. The last time Missouri beat Oklahoma was April of 2012 in Norman. Ball 1 to Taylor Ebbs. Mizzou came from behind to win 4-2 in 8 innings. Chelsea Thomas got the win. Ashley Fleming hit a 2-run homer in the game, and 744 people saw it, which was probably a pretty good crowd.
That would have been a great crowd. You said 2012?
Yep.
700 people, that's a lot of people in 2012 to watch a softball game, but talk about over 4,000 people in the stands today to watch. Over 3,000 people in the stands last night. It was a little chilly out. They came out here, saw a great ball game by watching Oklahoma's offensive powers.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing. There are probably a lot of people who were part of that 3,500 last night and are part of the 4,100 again today who came to the ballpark, if they're in Mizzou colors, with a little bit of apprehension about how game 2 would go.
Missouri's really come out and responded to last night's game. Getting run ruled by the #1 team in the country, it's never going to feel good, but you just kind of have to forget, from game to game what happened, whether you had a great game or whether you had a bad game. You got to come out the next time and just do exactly what you're supposed to do.
Ebbs chased what would have been ball 4. She's been Missouri's best hitter today. Single and a run back in the first, and a solo home run leading off the third when she was the first Tiger to face Kirsten Deal out of the Sooners bullpen. Payoff. Couple of lengthy Missouri at-bats. That was not the case early on. The Tigers were very aggressive the first time through the lineup, something Larissa Anderson emphasized a lot with the lineup she had last season. But this is back-to-back in the 5th to go full count plus at least 1.
Well, it was a definite shift from last night to today's game. They were much more aggressive in the box in that first inning. First and second pitch swinging.
McEnroe Marinas going into the bullpen fencing and couldn't snare it. Luckily came off no worse for wear, but unfortunately for Oklahoma, it extends this at bat for the dangerous Taylor Ebbs. A third payoff pitch from Deal. Ebbs lays off ball 4. Potential insurance on the bases for the Tigers. The second walk for Kirsten Deal, the third issued by Oklahoma pitching, and Larissa Anderson is going to make a change on the bases. Danielle Blackston, the primary Missouri pinch runner, comes on for Ebbs with 1 away. She is the insurance at first base. The mindset in that Missouri dugout has to be it's going to take at least 1 or 2 more runs to win the game, right?
You are absolutely right. I think, you know, you have a 3-0 lead. Your defense and your pitchers have done such a great job of keeping OU hitters at bay, but they're so good, so powerful, and can score runs quickly that just to give yourself a little bit of insurance, you see Coach Anderson taking this runner at first base very seriously, having a pinch runner, knowing that 1 or 2 more runs can do a lot of damage.
Abrascato has been a real offensive bright spot for Missouri so far in the SEC. 5 SEC games. She has 4 hits in 11 trips, a couple of doubles, including 1 in the first inning today. It's also a hit by a pitch last night. Had a couple of sacrifices against Kentucky 2 weeks ago when Mizzou opened Southeastern Conference play. And Patty Gasso takes the timeout to go out to the circle this time. We've seen normally pitching coach Jennifer Rocha making the mound visits. But Patty Gasso talking to the entire infield. More coaching for Patty Gasso to do this year. And you could tell they take a lot of timeouts. They talk things over. They slow the game down for some of these younger players. 1-1 pitch. Abrascato takes, just got the outside corner, 1-2. You know, she's not upset at all. In fact, she's quite pleased she gets to do a little more coaching. She said the last couple of years, it was almost like, you know, guys, I'm going to stand over here, and if you need me, let me know. But pretty much got things under control.
You can tell she's such a competitor when she was talking about it, how she really just had to make sure she wanted to come in. She wanted to coach these girls, these young girls, and be able to kind of walk them through.
So there's a foul tip here by Abrascato. Emmerling is saying she caught the foul tip. Home plate umpire Tatum Stolting said no. It looked from here, tough to tell because Emmerling's body is shielding it, that she caught it on the fly, but the umpires say foul ball, still 1-2 on Abrascato. Let's see. No.
Oh, it hit the ground. She did a great job playing that off, though.
Abrascato has kind of a long swing, but it doesn't seem to hurt her with 2 strikes. She's still able to make that contact and fight off tough pitches.
Yeah, she doesn't change her swing when she has 2 strikes. She has a little bit longer of a swing. She's got really quick hands through the zone.
Wave and a miss by Abrascato, and Deal wins the battle for the second out in this 5th inning.
Deal has really settled in after that home run she gave up to Ebbs. Comes back here. She's really been working the hitters outside. Abrascato, that pitch is definitely a ball with 2 strikes. She's way more aggressive at the plate.
Madison up to Grove, fists it toward first. Sanders makes the play. Missouri strands a runner. We go to the 6th inning. Just 6 outs left for the top-ranked, undefeated Sooners, trailing 3-0. Position when Missouri pitchers have been able to just turn it up a notch.
This has been the big difference maker in this game compared to last night's game. The Missouri pitchers have done a great job of keeping Oklahoma off balance in the box and not really giving them any time to feel comfortable. Sierra Harrison did a great job through the lineup twice. Pennell's come in and stepped up big time.
This feels like it might be the most important remaining inning for Oklahoma because the bottom third of the lineup is coming up. Emmerling to lead off, then Core and Dayton to follow against Pennell. If they could get a couple of them on in front of the top of that lineup, and remember the top of the lineup is especially powerful because McEnroe-Marinas has moved up to hit leadoff and Garcia to hit second for Oklahoma, so the 1-2 are really more like a 3-4 in terms of their hitting style. Emmerling 0 for 2. Popped up in foul ground to the left fielder Kohler in the second, and just inside the foul line to the shortstop Updegrove in the fourth. Pennell's 2-0. Emmerling takes off speed for a strike, and that had Emmerling leaning and buckling a little bit in the box.
Well, you would think these Oklahoma hitters would be looking for Pennell's changeup. It's her go-to pitch. It's what, if she is going to be effective, she has to be able to throw it for a strike. And they've seemed very off balance in the box.
Off balance swing, a spinner to second. Smith makes the play, and Emmerling is the first out.
That looks like a routine ball, but that ball had so much spin coming off of it. It could have kicked either way after it hit the ground. Smith does a good job staying down on it and coming around and making that play.
You can see her almost standing back from the ball, like a grenade was landing in front of her, not knowing how much is this going to really dig into the dirt and kick one way or the other. It's good awareness, knowing she had Emmerling not especially fleet of foot going down the first base line, and she could afford to take her time with it. Core fouls off the first pitch. She has flied to left and sacrificed officially on a bunt to the pitcher Sierra Harrison in the fourth. Marissa McCann and Natalie Touche still throwing in Missouri's pen. And Core takes strike 2. Core sprays it foul toward the Oklahoma bullpen, where Sam Landry is in the very early stages of warming up. She's not even really pitching yet. Last weekend against Arkansas, Landry appeared in all 3 games for the Sooners. The full 7 innings on Friday, a couple of innings Saturday and Sunday.
Landry only had to throw 5 innings last night. She was really efficient out there in the circle, so maybe has a little bit still left in the arm, you know, to come in and try to put her in a save type situation if Oklahoma's offense can come on strong.
Of course, sent line drives both directions. Timing seems like it's honing in. It might be a little bit of a surprise to see Oklahoma use Landry trailing by 3 runs. At the same time, we really don't know what that would look like. Haven't been many opportunities to see how the Sooners would handle that. Core checked her swing late and got a piece of it. In fact, this is the 2nd time all year Oklahoma has been trailing after 5 innings. Sooners have 1 win when they've come from behind after the 6th. Two and two. Good fight from Court. Went behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Fouled off a few, taken a couple. Right center, Abrascato, make it Blackston, reaches out for the catch. Danielle Blackston, the pinch runner, stays in as the right fielder and runs down a core liner at the track.
Well, the ball always finds a new person. She does such a great job tracking this ball. Reaches up and goes to get it. You see her center fielder, Cahalan, cheering her on out there. It's a big-time play.
Abigail Dayton, the 9-hitter. One and one. No disrespect to Stefania Bruscato. I don't think she's catching that ball.
No, and we had talked, she's not a true outfielder, really. But such a great play out there in right field. She came in on the ball a little bit, so it still had to go back on it, and probably why she had to reach up as high as she did.
Just missed, 2 and 1. Blackston didn't get to do much as a pinch runner. She was rooted to first base. Missouri didn't put anything in play, but that could be a really big impact she makes in this game defensively.
Well, and late in the game with the lead against a team like OU who has a lot of pop in their bat, it's a good move. You got to move it, make sure that you're as best as you can be with defense.
A 1-2-3 6th inning for Pinnell. The top of the order will bow to the 7th for Oklahoma, but Missouri is 3 outs from a massive victory. Missouri 3, Oklahoma nothing as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Sooners are down to their final 3 outs. They'll have the top of the order in the 7th, trying to stave off a first loss of the season and a first loss to Missouri in 13 years. But Mizzou still has 3 outs left with which to try to add on. And Maya Dodge, a pinch hitter, will lead off the home 6th for the Tigers. Missouri Valley Player of the Year a couple of seasons ago at Northern Iowa. Only her 15th appearance this season. 7th off the bench. She's hitting 179. She does not have an extra base hit. She's driven in 3. She had her first career SEC extra base hit last April in what was, until today, the highest attended regular season game in Missouri history against Florida. It was a home run out to dead center. So perhaps she likes the big crowds.
Have to embrace that moment, right? When as a hitter coming off the bench in this big time game, you really just have to stay dialed in, and it helps if you can come up big even with the walk.
Yeah, Maya Dodge could have stayed in the dugout for the plate appearance. She would have reached first base all the same. Doesn't take the bat off her shoulder. A 4-pitch walk to lead off the 6th. And it creates a lot of flexibility now for Larissa Anderson with Kohler and Cahalan coming to the plate. The 8 and 9 hitters put something on.
Kohler and Cahalan have a lot of speed, which causes a little bit of chaos with the defense. We've seen OU be really great defensively, and we've seen a little bit of the cracks in this young defense out there today for Oklahoma.
There was a pitch clock violation there, but against Missouri, Kohler took too long to get in, so the first pitch is an 0-1, but it's thrown away. Dodge takes off her third. She gets a stop sign. An error by the pitcher, Deal, and Missouri is threatening to add on. Second and third, nobody out.
Speed can kill. This was definitely supposed to be a sacrifice bunt by Kohler. It's a good bunt And that's a really tough play for a lefty pitcher. She's got to come in and spin all the way around to make that throw to first base. If you're a righty, you can pick it up and it's just a normal throw. But as a left-handed pitcher, that's a really hard play to make.
On top of that, because she was spinning around, her mask was coming off. She has sunglasses on. You would think it probably bumped the sunglasses too. So Kirsten Deal was probably making a blind, on-the-move spinning throw to first base, and not altogether surprising that she just yanked it a little bit in the direction of her momentum.
And there's not much you can do defensively from that. The third baseman can't come in and make that play. It's bunted right towards your pitcher. It's just, that's a really hard play to make.
Said earlier that this Missouri crowd was maybe too nervous to make much noise. They're feeling a little bit different now. Up 3-0 in the bottom of the 6th. With a pair of Tigers in scoring position, and Claire Cahalan, who has been a tricky out, scheduled to bat. She had an infield single in the 2nd. She had a strikeout in the 4th. Infield comes in for Oklahoma.
See Cahalan, we've seen her slap, we've seen her bunt, and now she's keeping her feet still and swinging away. This is something she added to her, her hitting arsenal in the offseason.
Maya Dodge in trouble, throw behind her, she's in a rundown. Garcia, the tag by Everling, and Dodge is out. Maya Dodge scrambled entirely too far down the third base line, and Oklahoma gets a big first out.
Such a big timeout for Oklahoma, getting that runner on third base. You see Dodge coming out too far. I think if she dives back in, she's got a much better chance of being safe on that.
At the very least, from a Missouri standpoint, getting in the rundown did allow Kohler to move up to third behind her. Off the outside, 3-0, so Deal could have been in real trouble here. A ball away from walking what would have been the bases loaded with the top of the order Crenshaw on deck. Instead, Kohler is at third as the only Missouri runner. 3-0 pitch. Infield in. Outfield very shallow. 3-1. Cahalan checks her swing, ball 4, no! It's strike 2. Both Larissa Anderson from first and Jeff Cottrell from third are walking all the way in. Tatum Stolting is taking it from both directions. Yeesh.
You heard Coach Anderson ask if it was on her or if that was a called strike. Home plate umpire confirmed that she called it on Cahalan.
And Deal gets the strikeout. Oklahoma takes advantage of a borderline call on 3-1 and back-to-back big outs for OU.
Deal has done a great job since that error on that bunt to really kind of settle into the circle. You've seen some big timeouts from her.
Here's Julia Crenshaw. Missouri's leading hitter has a single and a walk in 3 trips. She has also grounded to third. Both the infield and outfield can back up now with 2 away. Kohler still at third. Deal brings in a 1-0 pitch to Crenshaw. And it's catcher's interference on Everling. The swing from Crenshaw took Everling's mitt clean off her hand. So Crenshaw is aboard on what will go officially as an E2.
See Emmerling coming really far in on the box. That's a dangerous play for a catcher. Having that bat hit the glove, which easily can hit your hand. And if a bat hits that hand, it's definitely going to break some bones in it.
So now it's Madison Walker. Open the scoring with a solo homer in the first. Inside, ball 1. The story of the day has been Missouri wiggling out of one Sooners rally after another. All the runners left on base by Oklahoma. But this would be maybe the greatest Houdini of them all if OU gets out of this one with nothing. Got Dodge in a rundown. Got Cahalan on a strikeout after that really close 3-1 pitch. Technically now 2 errors in the inning, both on the battery. Kohler at third, Crenshaw at first, 2 away. Crenshaw takes a big jump off first. Missouri nearly picked off for a second time in the inning. Great throw by Emmerling, just late.
Good heads-up play by Emmerling, too, to see Crenshaw out there kind of off balance. She got way too far out. That could have been a very bad running situation for Missouri there.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Madison Walker. Oklahoma will have the top of the order scheduled in the 7th, presumably against Missouri closer Taylor Pannell, who has put up scoreless 5th and 6th innings. McEnroe, Marinas, Garcia, and Sanders scheduled to bat. But the Sooners have to get there, trailing by only 3. 2-2. Walker nubs it foul.
Good at bat by Walker, fouling off some tough pitches from Deal out there.
Two again. Walker on a pitch that nearly hit her. Scares the daylights out of the Missouri dugout.
She definitely turned on that ball.
Full count. Daly on deck. Kohler at third, Crenshaw at first, 2 out. Deal's payoff. Walker tops it to third. In comes McEnroe Marinas on the run to make the play, and Oklahoma escapes yet again. Can the Sooners find something on the offensive side? Top of the order coming up. They need 3. This crowd to ever see a Missouri softball game in Columbia. Taylor Pannell against the top of the Oklahoma order. Nelly McEnroe Marinas, Gabby Garcia, Sydney Sanders scheduled for the Sooners. McEnroe Marinas in the air to left. Back goes Kohler at the wall. That's a way to start it. The Sooners need 2 more. McEnroe Marinas, with her 2nd home run in as many games this weekend, injects life into the Sooners dugout.
McEnroe Marinas, such a deadly hitter. Elite hands. She's so quick through the ball. So dangerous as a number 1 hitter. Comes in very aggressive. First pitch swinging. Takes this ball. It's a little too high. You cannot leave the ball up against Oklahoma.
Here's Gabby Garcia. She too homered yesterday. Had a 3-run shot in the first inning. Oklahoma hasn't been shut out since before the pandemic, and that will continue. It was June of 2019 against Alabama in the World Series, the last time the Sooners went without a run. Garcia off the end of the bat. Sophie Smith is there. One away.
Big timeout by Pinnell after giving up the leadoff home run, coming back against a very good Gabby Garcia to be able to get her out.
Designated player number 1, Sydney Sanders.
Sydney Sanders takes a strike. Oh, and 2. Just tied, 2 and 2. Sanders is struck out, bounced into a fielder's choice and singled. Oklahoma needs at least one more base runner. There's so much power in this Sooners lineup. Any way on will do to bring initially Cassidy Pickering to the plate as the potential tying run. Two. Sanders takes ball 3.
East Missouri crowd letting the home plate umpire hear it. That ball is a little low.
More Missouri fans than have ever yelled at a home plate umpire all at once. Verifiably. Payoff. Sanders takes ball 4. What a disciplined plate appearance for Sydney Sanders. And indeed, Pickering will come to the plate as the potential tying run.
It's a great at-bat by Sanders. She got down 0-2, fights off some tough pitches, and really lays off the changeup that she had been struggling with against Pinnell.
Patty Gasso is going to go to another pinch runner in Shady Helton, and so Sydney Sanders will be finished. It's the second time that Patty Gasso has used a pinch runner for Sanders. Tia Malloy came on earlier. Now it's Helton. Mentioned last night she was a 3-time Oklahoma finalist in the 200-meter dash at Coweta High School. The true freshman has speed to burn. Pickering at the plate. Pickering is 1 for 2, a fly to center, a single, and a walk in that order. After 4 straight hitless games earlier this month, Pickering is 6 out of 13 over her last 5. Pair of doubles, a homer, 5 walks.
Taylor Pinnell, normally a closer, really is how she's been used mostly as a pitcher for this Missouri staff. Loves the big-time pressure situations, and she's in the middle of it right now.
Nellie McEnroe-Marinas led off the 7th inning with a solo home run out to left. Oklahoma's first and only run today. 2-2 to Pickering. Wave and a miss. Missouri is 1 out away.
Big time pitch by Pinnell to come back after a walk with this changeup, her go-to strikeout pitch. Does a great job to get her swinging.
Here's Ella Parker. A 3-run homer in the 5th inning last night. She represents the potential tying run. 5 home runs on the season. Oklahoma has won 31 games in a row going back to last June. They have started this season 28-0. 7-0 in the SEC. Two and one. Tapper back toward Pannell. Crenshaw takes it. 28-1. Former Big 12 rival Missouri stuns Oklahoma.